here at the Hyde Lounge, and this is our Salmon sit down, and I have someone that obviously everyone knows who this is if you've been watching the Vegas Golden Knights. The biggest show in town, Jamie Hersch. I appreciate you coming and talking with me and letting folks know a little bit about you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I'm new to the Vegas area as of last summer. We moved in that record heat wave that we had there.
It was a bit hot.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, welcome to Vegas. We wanted this, we got it, but it's been so great to be here. We live up in Summerlin, and it's been just so awesome to be a part of the Vegas Golden Knights.
That's really cool. With that being said, you're from Minnesota.
Yep.
You came out to Las Vegas. You just said the record temperatures. What was it like for Minnesota to come out here for it to be like 115? Like, did you melt and then put your skin back on?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did, but I would say it's actually weirdly similar to Minnesota in the sense that in Minnesota, you don't go outside. Like, you go from your heated house to your heated garage and your heated car to your heated office. And you just try to avoid being outside. And it's kind of like that in the summer in Vegas, right?
1,000%.
Like, if you go outside, you're going to be in the pool. And if you're not in the pool, you're going to be in air conditioning. And so you just kind of get through it for a couple months. And as you know, the rest of the year is really beautiful. Like, we've had just amazing winter weather even for Vegas, I think. So I've been pleasantly surprised that it hasn't been as much of an issue as I thought it would be.
See, that's really cool. So I was going to get into that, the fact that you came out with your family, husband, 2 kids, coming to Las Vegas. Did you ever in your wildest dreams think that you would, hey, you know what, I'm going to live in Las Vegas someday?
I never, in my wildest dreams, thought I would live in Las Vegas someday. I didn't even come here until college, and then I did the typical Vegas Strip experience.
Oh, yeah.
Super fun, right? But I had no idea that there was life outside of the Strip, as so many people don't know. And so when I started coming out here a lot for work with NHL Network, which was my previous job, I came here a lot because the Golden Knights were good, right?
Yeah.
And so even from the first year when they went to the Cup Final, I was out here a lot. I was covering the team up at City National Arena in Summerlin. And I was like, what is this place? This is just like a little tucked away, best kept secret of Vegas. And so that kind of always stuck in my brain. And the more time that I spent out here, my husband's from California, my parents are in Phoenix now full time. So when we were starting to figure out where do we want to raise our kids, where do we want to build a life, Summerlin / Las Vegas really was a really good answer to that.
So this is a question I ask a lot of people that are not from here, that live here, and they come after a little while. What do you tell like people that ask you, like, what is Vegas like? Because I know they always like, are you down on the Strip? I know you're gambling. Like, how do you kind of explain what it's like to live here to people that?
I actually compare it a lot to where we came from. So we moved from Hoboken, which is a town right across the Hudson River from Manhattan, right? So we lived right across the river. It was a 10-minute ferry or subway or whatever to get to Midtown Manhattan. But that's like Times Square craziness.
Yes.
We didn't go to Times Square.
Exactly.
We went like once a quarter, right? Like if you want to go to a show or you want to go have a nice dinner or something, like then maybe you do make the 10-minute trek in. Yeah. But it's very similar here where like we're kind of tucked away in Summerlin. We do our thing. Our kids go to school. We go to the park. We go to Costco and Target.
Yep.
But if we want to see a show, like tonight my husband and I are going to the game and we're just going to be fans, which is really great. And that's kind of the fun thing is that it's here if you want it. But you can live a totally normal suburban life if you want to, too.
There you go. There you go. Talking about being a fan, let's talk about you being a professional. You holding microphones, something that you've done very well.
Thank you.
Fact that, no, seriously, you've done very well. From the NHL Network / MLB, you worked at Fox a while back. But here are the Golden Knights. What's it like working for the VGK, especially in the type of setup that they have?
I mean, I've always been impressed by just the first-class organization that they've had. And it starts at the top, right? Bill Foley sets the expectation and sets the standard for how everyone is treated. And it really does trickle down all the way. And so it's been just such a treat to now be kind of welcomed in with open arms by them. And, you know, I'm not full-time. I don't work every single game, but they keep me pretty busy. And it's been really great to just be a part of a group that, gets it in terms of how to treat their employees, but also gets how to treat the fans. And this experience that they have here at the Fortress, everyone loves it. Visitors love it, right? Even the opposing teams' fans love it. And so it's been really great to kind of witness this as my normal job, so to speak.
Your normal job. And the fact that you work for the NHL Network, so you were there when the Golden Knights were first born. They were Vegas born.
Yeah.
I'm sure working at the NHL Network, you got to take me behind the curtain and kind of let me know what some of the people that work there and analysts and players and all that kind of thought about. That team in Vegas, they are going to stink when they start.
I was here for the expansion draft and NHL awards and all of that. And yeah, there were some questions about what is this team going to look like? And that's why the whole original Misfits really works, because these were guys that people were like, that's a third line player. That's a fourth line guy. Like, why are they drafting all these guys? but they were guys that were really good players. They just weren't given the opportunities on other teams, and so they put them together. The culture was amazing, and the rest is history. And so I think it's just been such a success story that obviously Seattle's tried to emulate. Other teams are trying to figure it out. Look, I'm from Minnesota, and the Wild have been around for 25 years and are just dying to win a Stanley Cup. So other teams look at Vegas like, you won a cup in 6 years of existence? Like, that is unheard of, but it's really awesome, and they're keeping it rolling.
No, they absolutely are. That first year they went to the Cup.
Yeah.
Again, you're from Minnesota. I mean, it's hockey.
It's kind of big. State of hockey.
Yeah,
that's what they call it.
Right. Yeah. I've covered a game there, and I remember like just going to the arena with all the little hockey sweaters all around the arena. I think that's pretty dope. But for, like you said, from a place like Minnesota, when the Golden Knights went to the Cup that first year, it was like a story written.
Right.
Like, could you actually believe that they actually made that cup in their first?
I couldn't believe it, and it actually felt like a team of destiny. I was surprised at the time that they didn't win it, right? Because it was like, this does not happen. This should not happen, and yet here they are. So I think it was great the way it worked out, because, you know, the best way to really ingratiate yourself to the community is by winning, right? And so the fact that they were the first professional sports team in town, and the fact that they were a winning sports team in town, I think got all the fans to really buy in. And also I'd be remiss if I didn't point out, you know, the whole October 1st thing as well, and the way that those players and the organization wrapped its arms around this community during that time, because I think that went a long way, and people still remember that, and that's why the whole Vegas-born thing is just so kind of an emotional attachment to this team throughout the community.
Okay, so now it's Women's History Month right now. You being a woman.
Yes.
I know. So, who did you look up to when you were coming up in this industry to do what you do? Because, I mean, there's some great role models out there, and you're at USC, and obviously there's been a lot of people that have come through. That's a very good program as well. But who's someone you looked up to coming up?
I always go back to Michelle Tafoya. She was a sideline reporter for, I believe it was Monday Night Football at the time. And as I was, you know, first becoming a sports fan, football was my number one. I loved football every Sunday. My dad and I were glued to the TV. I'd read all the newspaper clippings the next day. And I'm dating myself here. We didn't go on the internet. Yeah, exactly. There was no smartphone. There were no. I don't think I was on the internet at the time. Either way, I was obsessed to the point where my dad actually. I went to USC for college, and my dad would VHS tape the Vikings game,
I don't know what that is, I'm sorry.
USPS snail mail it to me at USC.
Wow.
Obviously, I wouldn't get it till like Wednesday, but I would still want to watch it because I was that big of a Vikings fan. I mean, so back to my role model though, Michelle Tafoya, as I was watching all these games, she was the only woman that I was really seeing at all involved. And I remember thinking, like, not only is it cool that she's a woman, but she fits right in with all the other commentators, and she knows her stuff, and she can ask really informed questions, and she didn't play the game, but she might as well have with her knowledge. And so that made me, it really is powerful, the idea of representation, and if you can see it, you can be it, because I never would have thought that's something I can do unless I saw another woman doing it. And that's really where it was born. And so I knew in high school I wanted to go to journalism school, and sports journalism specifically, and have that emphasis, and now it's led to a great career. So that's where it all started.
Absolutely. How do you get to USC from Minnesota?
It was between USC or Northwestern for journalism.
Just
and I thought, well, thank you, but I also thought, do I want to be studying for finals by the pool, or do I know? That was part of it. That was part of it, but also at the time, Pete Carroll, go Raiders. Right. Pete Carroll was the coach, and they were winning national championships. And my freshman year, again dating myself, but my freshman year was that just incredible game at Texas beat USC. Vince Young taking it over. Yeah. I know, and so I was there at a time, or I wanted to go there because they were really good at sports, and Northwestern wasn't good at sports, and so I figured I'd rather cover the Trojans than the Wildcats.
Yeah, well, but the whole beach by the pool and the Chicago Windy City, you're from Minnesota, like, please.
I've had enough snow.
1,000%. So with that being said, as far as like for Women's History Month and you looking up to Michelle Tafoya, what's it like now? Because I know young ladies, they reach out to you, you mentor, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've done that. It warms my heart. Like, how does that make you feel that you can be that person for someone now?
I mean, it's touching for sure. It really is moving to think that there are people out there that reach out and say, you know, I want to be you when I grow up. And I've had so many conversations trying to kind of lift the next generation as well. And I think really my dream at this point is to not only give women an example for, you know, being a sideline reporter or being a studio host, because we are seeing more and more of that. That's great. But if there's going to be a next step, I think that's, opening the door in other more traditionally male fields, such as like play-by-play. And that's something that I have just recently started. I do it now mostly for the Professional Women's Hockey League. But that is something where, again, I never thought I could be a play-by-play announcer because I never heard a woman's voice calling hockey.
Up top again for Hughes. Hamilton shot, he scores! Teach me how to ducky, it's the OTGWG.
So that's something I take, great pride in, but also I feel a big responsibility in making sure that I'm as prepared as I can be and as good as I can be, so that, I'm not going to be the best one out there, but at least if we start hearing more women's voices calling play-by-play, it normalizes that and gives other girls out there watching an idea that they might want to try that. And then they're going to be the next Doc Emmerich, or we'll call her Dorothy Emmerich, or who, it'll be more normalized to hear male and female voices.
No, that being said, I completely agree with that. That being said, was there someone that you look up to as a play-by-play person? I know Gosher, obviously, I think he's one of the best.
He's so good.
Regardless. He's
yeah.
very, very good. But is anyone that you kind of looked up to in that respect?
Yeah, I mean, he's so good. Dave certainly is. I also really look up to Doc Emmerich as kind of the gold standard, and he's been kind enough to reach out back to me. We've had several conversations. He's given me feedback and some things to work on, which is just so amazing of him to be so gracious with his time and generous. But he's definitely one. And Kenny Albert with TNT, I think he is one of the best. Yeah. So those are a few. I don't really have, Kenzie Lalonde is a young woman up in Canada who just started doing some Senators play-by-play for the Ottawa Senators. And she also does work for the PWHL. I think she does a fantastic job. But she's really kind of one of the only other women. I know Leah Hextall was doing it for ESPN, but it's so few of us that are doing it, so it's hard to have women as those role models and examples. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here and trying to learn as I go.
No, I got you. I wonder about this, especially for play-by-play for hockey.
It's so hard.
Exactly. It's so fast. Like, how do you kind of, the names are ridiculous as well.
Yeah.
Like, how do you prepare for something like that? Like, are you watching videos and kind of doing stuff at home, or how do you?
It's a lot of memorization, because I just want to make sure that when I see a number, I don't even have to think twice about who the name is attached to that number.
Gotcha.
And then once you start calling a team more and more, you don't even need to see the number. You just know based on, for women, it's like the ponytail or like the way she strides or something. Like, you get to know, even out here watching the Golden Knights, like, I could tell you it's Jack Eichel without number 9 on his sweater, because you can tell. Tomas Hertl, like, he's a big body. You don't need number 48 to know that that's Tomas Hertl in front of the net. So you get more familiar with the players, but it definitely is the hardest thing I've ever done professionally and the most rewarding.
I got you. And kind of to wrap a little bit up, one, Las Vegas as a sports town.
Yeah.
I ask people this all the time, because especially when they're not from here and you worked in the business for a while, could you ever imagine that Vegas would be this kind of sports town? To have an NFL team, to have an NHL team, like WNBA, like, to me, it's still kind of mind-blowing that Las Vegas is as big of a town as it is.
It is. It really is now, not just the entertainment capital of the world, but the sport and entertainment capital of the world. And I think that is so exciting. And it's also a big reason why my husband and I chose to move here, because I want to keep working in sports. And if it's just hockey, that's great, but that's only 6 to 8 months out of the year.
True.
And so the fact that baseball is now coming, I'm sure the NBA will be soon to follow. The Aces have been crushing it in the WNBA. They've got, they're going to get probably an MLS team eventually.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more sports coming. So yeah, the fact that I think there was such a stigma around, like, we don't want to bring sports to a sports betting city.
Yeah.
We've proven that that's not really an issue. It's absurd.
Yeah, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen somewhere other than Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen here for sure.
Yep.
I got you. Wow. Okay. I'm happy that you came to talk to me about, like, what's going on. Is anything kind of surprised you about working, like, for an actual team or working with the Vegas Golden Knights that you've done?
Not much has surprised me, just because I feel like I've been around the hockey culture for so long. I used to work with the Minnesota Wild back in Minnesota about more than a decade ago.
Every question's going to be about age from now.
Yeah, I'm 37. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It's okay. Everyone can Google it. No, but they're just, like I said before, they're just it's so impressive of an organization, top to bottom. Everyone's been so wonderful to work with, and I've just been really happy to be a part of it, really. I feel very just honored and special that I was able to move here and kind of just say, hey, I'm here if you need me, and that they've taken me up on that and had me on.
Cool. I got you. Last but not least, favorite thing to do since you've been in Las Vegas? Like favorite food or like favorite show that you've seen?
Yeah, we
There's
did.
a ton
We
of
did.
them.
My husband and I did a little staycation. So we have 2 kids, 5 and 3. So they're little, and my parents will come every now and then and
That
watch
is
them.
very nice of them.
It's so great. And so we're like, we need to make this an annual thing
Yeah.
where it was right around Christmas time. So it was so awesome to see the casinos all decked out in the holiday
Very, very nice.
setting. And we went to the Michael Jackson show one, and it was amazing. We also saw Mad Apple, but I think the Michael Jackson show was my favorite so far to this
Okay,
point.
I got
yeah.
you. By far. And there's such good food here.
Well, I need all the recommendations. That's what, after we wrap this, I need all of your recommendations for like cocktail bars, coffee shops, restaurants on the strip, restaurants off the strip. We'll talk.
Okay, there we go. Jamie Hersch of the Vegas Golden Knights. She's a trailblazer.
Oh,
She's a trailblazer.
thank you.
I
I'm
think
trying.
you do fantastic. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate
Thank you.